Okay, let's see. Today we're talking about words and expressions. So let's take a look. Now, we're going to translate verbal phrases into numerical expressions, and we're going to use order of operations to evaluate expressions. All right, so let's see. Lisa and Patty want their friends to make ice cream at their birthday party. Each friend will need the ingredients below for one small batch of ice cream. So we have our table on the side. And then, let's see. So to translate the verbal phrases into expressions. So to find the number of cups of ice for 9 friends. So cups of ice, there's 3 cups per friend. And we're trying to find the number of cups for 9 friends. Lisa and Patty can use the numerical expression 9 times 3. Okay? So the numerical expression contains a combination of numbers and operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. All right. Also, if you look on your note sheet that is under your modules for words and expressions notes, there is a little table on there that will help you when writing numerical expressions. It has words for addition, words for subtraction, words for multiplication, and words for division. For example, you have for addition, you have things like the sum of, increased by. For subtraction, you have things like the difference of, decreased by. Multiplication, the product of. Remember, product is the answer to a multiplication problem. And then division, you would have things like among. So if you have the word among, that's going to kind of tell you it's a division problem. And then you have things like the quotient of. Remember, quotient is the answer to a division problem. All right. So we have write a numerical expression for each verbal phrase. The product of 17 and 3. So the phrase is the product of 17 and 3. Now, product is our key word. That tells us it's going to be multiplication. So then I do 17 times 3 would be my expression. Let's look at B. The total number of pencils given to each student if 18 pencils are shared among 6 students. So shared among. So we're dividing those pencils out, okay? So we could simply say the expression would be 18 divided by 6, okay? All right. So then this is where you would pause the video, go to your note sheet, and on your note sheet there are 5 different examples that you should work to let you try to see how you do writing numerical expressions. So pause the video, work them, then come back and you can see how they're worked, okay? All right, welcome back. Let's see. So number 1 says 11 less than 20. So less than is our key word that we're looking at, and that means to move the number before it after. So it would be 20 minus 11, okay? So 20 minus 11. And then number 2, we have 25 increased by 6. So increased by 6. That's our key words. So 25 plus 6. Okay? Number 3, the quotient of 40 and 8. Again, our key word would be quotient, which tells me it's division. And so it's 40 and 8. So it would be 40 divided by 8. Okay? All right. Number 4, the product of 7 and 12. My key word is product, and I have 7 and 12. So it would simply just be 7 times 12. Now remember, I can write that like that. I can write 7 times 12, or I could even write 7 times 12. All of those mean the same thing. And then I have the sum of 13 and 8. So sum of 13 and 8. So that sum tells me that I'm dealing with addition. So I have 13 plus 8. And that's all there is to writing an expression. So you have verbal, and that's verbal. So, for example, if it gave me the expression 13 plus 8, and it asked me to write the verbal, write it in verbal, then I would write out the sum of 13 and 8. So it depends on what it's looking for. Do they want me to write the numerical expression or the verbal expression? Okay? All right. Now we're going to talk about the order of operations. So to evaluate an expression, you find its numerical value. If a numerical expression has more than one operation, you use the order of operations. The order of operations are the rules to follow when evaluating an expression with more than one operation. So there are steps that you can follow. So step 1, you're going to want to evaluate the expression inside grouping symbols. So that would be things like brackets and parentheses. Okay, so those will come first. Then you have your multiplication and division. And remember, you go from left to right. Okay, and then step 3, you do add or subtract from left or right. So remember, multiplication and division before addition and subtraction. So let's take a look at that. We have evaluate each expression. So we have 6 times 5 minus 10 divided by 2. First thing we look for is grouping. There's no grouping, no parentheses, no brackets. So then we go left to right looking for multiplication or division. We have 6 times 5, and we have 10 divided by 2. So we start left to right, so we have to do the 6 times 5. That gives me the 30, and I rewrite the problem. And then I can do my 10 divided by 2, and that gives me 30 minus 5, and then finally the answer would be 25. Okay? So I did my multiplication and my division left to right before I did my subtraction. All right, let's look at B. So we have parentheses in this one. Okay? So we have to do these parentheses first. All right? So we have 3 plus 6. 3 plus 6 is going to give me 9. Now we have 4 times 9 plus 2 times 11. Again, now we go left to right. So 4 times 9 is 36, and 2 times 11 is 22. Now I look for any addition or subtraction. It's addition. So when I add them together, I get the answer of 58. Okay? Let's look at C. I have brackets and parentheses. So I start with brackets, then I look inside the brackets, and I find the parentheses. So then I have to do what's inside the parentheses first. So 7 plus 5 is 12. And then I can rewrite the whole problem. Now I look inside the brackets, I have division and subtraction. Remember, division and multiplication come before subtraction and addition. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. So I can rewrite the whole problem. And then I do what's in the parentheses. 3 minus 1 equals 2. And then simply 3 times 2 is 6. And that's how I would show my work, all of those steps, when I do my homework or my practice work. All right. So here's another example. It's we have parentheses and brackets again, or brackets and parentheses. So we do the parenthesis first, 7 plus 5, that gives me 12, and I rewrite the problem. This time it says 11 minus 12 divided by 4. But remember, division is first. So I have to do the 12 divided by 4 first before I can use subtraction. And that would give me 3. Now I can do the 11 minus 3, which would give me 8. And then I multiply it outside the parenthesis times 5 to give me 40. Okay? Now let's see how you did on E. So E is a division problem. But we could rewrite that like this. Okay? This means the same thing. So your numerator and your denominator are like parentheses. Okay? So we have 60 minus 15 divided by 2 plus 7. 60 minus 15 would be 45. 2 plus 7 would be 9. And then 45 divided by 9 gives me 5. Okay? So remember, your numerator and denominator act like parentheses. Do everything in your numerator, then everything in your denominator, and then you can solve it. All right. So let's look at a word problem. It says a cell phone company charges $20 per month and 15 cents for each call made or received. Write and evaluate an expression to find the cost for 40 calls. Then make a table showing the cost for 40, 50, 60, and 70 calls. So what do we know? We know how much the company charges per call. That's per month, sorry. That's $20 per month. And we know that it charges 15 cents for each call made. So we want to find out how much is in 40, 50, 60, 70 calls. We can write an expression to find each cost. We can organize it in a table, and then we can solve it. So if we look, it's $20 per month and 15 cents for each call made or received, which would be 20. The and would be plus 15 times 40. In this case, we're looking for number of calls of 40. So then we could solve that. Remember that we do multiplication first, then we do the addition. So for 40 calls, we would end up with $26. For 50 calls, all we do is replace the 40 with the 50, and we get $27.50. For the 60 calls, we just replace the 40 with the 60, and we get $29. And for the 70 calls, again, we replace it with the 70 and get $30.50. So that is basically how you would do that problem. So we'd set it up in that table. We have the answers for everything the problem's looking for. All right. Now in your notes page, you have some evaluate each expression practice. Again, this is where I would pause the video, try it, see how you do on them, and then come back to the video and see if you work them correctly. Okay? This will help you when you do your practice work. All right, so pause the video. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you did well. Let's see how you did. We have evaluate each expression. We have 6 plus 3 times 9. So we look for parentheses, no parentheses. So now we look for multiplication and division. We have 3 times 9. So we would rewrite that as 6 plus, what's 3 times 9? 27. And then we have 6 plus 27, which is going to give me 33. And that would be my answer. Number 2, we have 14 minus 6 plus 8. All we have is add and subtract. So addition and subtraction, so we can go left to right. So we would say 14 minus 6, which is 8, and then 8 plus 8, which would give me 16. All right, good job. All right, then we have 22 divided by 11 times 6. All we have is multiplication and division, so we'd go left to right. 22 divided by 11 would be 2, and then times 6, which would give me 12. So you should have got 12 for that one. All right, now on number 4, we have parentheses, so we have to work those parentheses first. So we have 5 times 6 plus 1, which would be 7, minus 3 times 3. So now we go left to right. We have 5 times 7, which would be 35, minus 3 times 3, which is 9. And then we have 35 minus 9, which is going to give me 26. Okay? So good job on that one. All right. Number 5. We have brackets and parentheses. So we look at the brackets, and then we go inside the brackets, and we find our parentheses. So we would have 2 times 13 minus 4, which would be 9, plus 2 times 2. Then we can continue in the brackets and go 9 plus 2 times 2 is multiplication, 4, and then we can go 2 times what's in the bracket, 9 plus 4, which is 13. 2 times 13 would be 26. Good job if you got 26. If you didn't, take a look at what you did wrong. All right, number 6. We have 8 times 7 divided by 14 minus 1. So we look for parentheses. We have parentheses, which is 8 times 7. So 8 times 7, which I believe is 56, divided by 14 minus 1. So again, we do multiplication and division. before we do adding or subtracting. So 56 divided by 4 is what? 4. And 4 minus 1 is 3. So you should have gotten 3 for that answer. Okay? Number 7, it's a division problem. And we do the numerator first. So we have 67 plus 13, which would give me 80, and 34 minus 29, which would give me 5. And 80 divided by 5 is going to give me 16. Okay? All right. Number 8. We have 4 times 18 divided by 2 times 9. So we do our numerator, which is 4 times 18, which is 72. And 9 times 2, or 2 times 9, is 18. And 72 divided by 18 is, I believe, 4. So if you got 4, nice job. All right, so that is words and expressions. Now go back to your modules, go into words and expressions practice, and you will pull up a PDF. In the upper left-hand corner, there is a link where you can download it or print it if you want to. You don't need to. Get a piece of paper, mark number 1, and then work the problem. Go all the way down till you finish. And then at the top of that page in the module, there is a big blue button that says Submit the assignment. You click on that. After you took a picture of your work, of course, you click on that, you load up your picture, and you submit that to me for grading. Okay? So it's a PDF that you're going to work. All right, if you got any questions, just email and have a great day.